we're recording this podcast less than 24 hours from us losing a true American patriot and an icon, Dolly Parton. So, boys, no bras today.
Hell yeah.
Tits at half-mast for Dolly.
And unfortunately, working 9 to 5. What do you know about it?
I know. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? We have to welcome you to another episode of Point of Disorder, R.I.P. Dolly Parton. And by the way, black folks are in collective mourning, straight up and down. The black community loved us some Dolly Parton. 9 to 5 was a anthem for working black women and all throughout the 80s and into the 90s. And we all know about Whitney and Dolly and all that. But more than that, an American icon who devoted herself to philanthropy, to literacy, to equality, and to making sure that she was unequivocal in her support for not just human rights, but also the rights of black people and the rights of young people in this country. A true American.
And I feel very strongly about the fact that people, when I moved here, people talked all the time about the American dream.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has, gets the opportunity to have the American dream. She truly was an example of being able to have the American dream, the great American dream. But what she didn't do is pull the ladder up behind her.
Right.
She went, fuck, I've been able to make it. I came from poverty, and she lifted everyone else up as well. And I just think that's... She didn't want to be a billionaire. She didn't use her money to fucking start AI.
I was going to say, didn't she give away so much money that, like, she couldn't have been a billionaire? Like,
yes.
One of the people that, like you said, inhabited the American dream or accomplished the American dream, quote unquote, but didn't pretend like it was something that was available to everybody or that everybody could engage with. So rest in peace, Dolly Parton, one of the GOATs.
Welcome back to Point of Disorder. I am your host, Norris Howard. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. We're also going to be talking about Abdul El-Sayed's bromance interview with Jesse Waters on Fox News. We're going to be talking about why it seems like Michigan's Democrats are more concerned with attacking their own than attacking the Republicans. The Canada tariffs, of course, we're going to be talking about that, as well as Hakeem Jeffries just deciding to jump the shark and just say, you know what, I'm all the way in on the evil empire and meeting with Jared Kushner. That and so much more on this episode. I'm joined to my left. Jeremy, what's up? Head in the office.
I'm back. Jeremy here from Head in the Office. Woke up to another round of Hasan Piker Discourse. I hate to see it. Another day in America.
Yep, and we got the people's champion, Julie. What's up?
You know what? I'm here. I'm a little sad with the loss of Dolly, as we mentioned earlier, but I'm here.
Yeah, and don't forget to follow us on all of your social media platforms. That's at Point of Disorder on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, so on and so forth, and at Distill Social on all those same platforms. And don't forget, we also have a Substack where we write really cool stuff, and you can get that sent straight to your inbox. So also head to Substack and search Distill Social as well. Now, we're going to start today talking about our good friend of the show. I have no qualms in saying this, friend of the show, Abdul El-Sayed. And he went on Fox News to have a conversation with Jesse Waters, and I think a lot of people expected it to go one way, and it just completely didn't. By the end of the interview, I felt like Abdul completely charmed Jesse Waters, and it felt like they might have been buddies, and they might have gone and had a coffee afterwards.
At the end of it, it did seem like Abdul was kind of just having fun with it.
Yeah.
Like he was kind of just dancing around him, and I did appreciate like the pure rhetorical superiority that was expressed by Abdul over Jesse Waters in that interview. I got to appreciate it.
And I think part of it, he was kind of taking the piss. Like there was a part of it when it was just like, you know what, I'm here. He kept his line, which I really liked that. He did not cede any. Yeah, he did not cede any ground, to Fox News and their talking points, as much as obviously Jesse Waters was trying desperately to kind of like hook him in. So yeah, I think he did a good job. But I mean, I'm not surprised by that though. He is always the sort of person I think that can sit down and talk to anybody.
He's very good at it.
You could sit down and talk to your grandmother. You're a Trump-loving grandfather who sits and dribbles on his on his remote control whilst he watches Fox News. I'm pretty sure he could charm him as well. So I was not surprised by that. What I was surprised by, the amount of people that I saw that were hanging shit on him for actually going on Jesse Waters and asking the question, why? And it's like, dude, this is like... going back, 2 years ago, and everyone's saying, oh, we need to reach out to the other side. We need to
make our own Joe Rogan.
Kamala Harris should have gone on Joe Rogan. That was the discourse.
And Fox News, that was a talking point back there. We weren't talking to the other side. And I mean, like it or not, Fox News still has a large following, particularly of white people that live outside of metropolitan areas. And it's like, if you don't take the opportunity, when you have the opportunity and you have the skill set to actually do it, why would the fuck would you not do it?
Yeah, and his policy is very clearly go everywhere, talk to everybody. It's what he says over and over again. And you can not like that. You can say there are some places he shouldn't go or he shouldn't be talking to. He shouldn't be associated with certain platforms because it'll hurt him or something like that. But his policy is one of, I guess you could say, like radical openness or being a radical willing to be questioned and answer questions by anybody. And it seems to have worked for him so far. So I don't think he's going to really change that.
And I think we need to also be intelligent about how Abdul actually won the primary.
Yeah.
Is that he won the primary by overperforming in outstate and rural and medium-sized cities across Michigan. Mm-hmm. Those are significantly more Fox News areas than
TV.
Other places.
That is exactly where people are sitting and dribbling on their remote control. That is exactly
1,000%. So going on to Fox News is not the sort of beyond the pale thing that I think a lot of people think it is.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit about the actual interview itself because, I've always thought Jesse Waters was just barely able to legally call himself a TV host.
Right.
But the amount of times in which he was just so intellectually stumped and just had to move to the next topic happened time and time again. There was a moment in which Jesse asked him specifically about Medicare for All and about it funding transgender, gender affirming care and so on and so forth. And to which he literally said the word dingling. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, this is not a real person. This is not a real human being. And Abdul completely cornered him and said, well, Jesse, are you circumcised? To which he's fumbling and he just goes, yeah. He was like, I believe that was a decision between your doctor and your parents. And you had no part of that. And it was just a complete dog walk in terms of how prepared someone like Abdul was going up against somebody who just wanted to stoke the flames of culture war and not actually talk about any real policy.
And it's incredible how they're still talking about gender affirming care. Like they ran this whole playbook in 2022. That was like the height of their trans panic, and they're trying to sort of like revive it at this point. And they got fucking washed.
Yeah.
Like the people who are the most ardent, warriors against trans folks didn't do that well in their elections, except I guess Ron DeSantis. But then he ran for president and fizzled out instantly. Yeah. So I don't know why they think this is going to work again. Truly, Michigan does not care about gender affirming care or kids dinglings, as Jesse Waters says, nearly as much as Fox News does, obviously.
Well, I'd like to say that I think the Republicans really do care about kids dinglings. They seem to
Seems like it.
Unfortunate. I mean, look at the president.
They're obsessed. They're obsessed
they
by
seem
it.
to be obsessed by it. I mean, he brought up Colin Kaepernick at one point. Dog, is it 2012, bro? We're still talking about Colin Kaepernick. Are you serious? It was just a series of Fox News greatest hits, tried it out in one interview, and Abdul met every single solitary one of them. But the biggest one to me that hit so hard is the fact that Abdul got on national TV and called Mike Rogers a beta.
Yep.
And nobody pushed back on it.
He couldn't. Jesse Waters just accepted it. It was great.
So I'm going to be the old person in the room and say, what does it mean?
A beta?
Yeah.
So a beta is, so you know how somebody's top dog, they're an alpha, right? Mm-hmm. Top of the pile. A beta is the person the alpha has to dominate.
It's the bottom.
Yeah, you're like a submissive man.
Yes. So remember we talked about mogging last week? The beta is the subject of the mog.
Oh, okay.
So Jesse Waters in this arrangement got mogged because he's a beta by the alpha Abdul El-Sayed.
Talk about cultural education here.
And Mike Rogers isn't beating the beta allegations because he keeps dodging these debates.
And since it was third party, we could also say that there was a beta cucking situation as well. So I mean, it gets deep. But the thing I want to say, and Jeremy, I want to ask you this question as a young voter. You know, when you see an interview like that, you see the terminology used, you see how well he was able to sort of conduct himself on Fox News when other people would have literally just kind of lost it. Does that continue to give you confidence in what Abdul has going on?
Yeah, I mean, and it's less about the terminology, although the use of beta is very funny when talking about Mike Rogers. It's less the terminology and more just like a willingness to stand up business and fight for your principles. Like we see so many Democrats over and over again, especially those that are willing to go on Fox News, either get steamrolled or capitulate in some way. And Abdul is just unwilling to do that on Fox News or MS Now or ABC or wherever else he's getting interviewed. And that does give me hope. I think it speaks well of his ability to stay disciplined throughout the general election and obviously previously in the primary election where he won. So.
And I think more deeply than that, what it does is it gives people that basically voted for him in the primary and people that didn't vote for him in the primary to see the consistency, to see that ability to say, because we see it, like you said, all the time when people say one thing when they're being elected, when they're running for office, and then, turn very, sometimes ever so slightly, which means, but also that means a lot. And he's basically sticking to not just his talking points, but his values. And we've known him obviously for a long time. And I can tell you that his talking points have not changed for the last 5 or 6 years, not just the last 2 years. These are things that he's very passionate about. So, and it gives me heart to see that he's sticking to that even in front of the cameras and Fox News. Yeah,
and the thing that stood out to me was his answer on reparations because, again, Jesse brought up reparations. And I like the fact that he said, we need to have a real conversation about reparations. He didn't run away from the question. Yeah. He talked about specifically Detroit and how a city like Detroit would be made whole with reparations. He talked about inequality in education. He talked about inequality in employment and home ownership opportunity. He broke it all the way down. And so for me, just seeing somebody actually stand up to that question where a bunch of people would have folded or came out with word salad and made the answer not make sense, it felt very refreshing. But we got to venture into the online space for a minute because Abdul and his candidacy has seemingly broken the brains of the moderate Democrats here in Michigan. And we had a good little run for a couple weeks where it felt like everybody was going to hold hands and be kumbaya, but it seems like a few people still are not wholly convinced on what's going on. And Hasan Piker, the boogeyman of the left, has resurfaced once again. Jeremy, can you tell people kind of what this was about?
Yeah, once again, as I said at the beginning, it's always dreadful to wake up to Hasan Piker Discourse because everybody loses their goddamn minds in one way or another. But the thing that a lot of people are upset about right now that prompted tons of elected officials to drop statements is this notion that Hasan Piker was talking about on a recent stream where he essentially said that linking Zionism and linking Judaism together, saying they are essentially the same thing, that criticizing one is criticizing the other, invites violence upon Jewish folks, right? Because you are linking all Jewish folks to one specific political project. This is not a new idea.
That's just a logic. That's just a logic exercise.
It's not a new idea. Hannah Arendt was talking about this 70, 80 years ago. Ezra Klein wrote about this a couple of months ago. This is not a new idea. It is not out of the blue. It's not even a new opinion for Hasan Piker himself to express.
But that would just be like all gang violence is perpetuated by all black people.
Precisely. Yeah. And it's the sort of liberal commentariat or moderate commentariat latched onto this and tried to construe it as Hasan calling for violence upon Jewish people for supporting the state of Israel, which obviously isn't what happened. But this even prompted our senator, Alyssa Slotkin, to go on and make a statement. And I'm just going to read this for the audience to get an idea of what she said, and it's basically copy-paste everywhere else. This is what Alyssa Slotkin said. In response to Hasan Piker's recent comments on Jews in America being targeted because of their views on Israel, this shouldn't be hard. No community should face the threat of violence for their political views, period. That goes if you're pro-Israel, pro-Israel, pro-Palestine, pro-choice, pro-life, or any other cause you care about. And blaming the victims of violence for bringing it on themselves only further endangers people. In a time where political violence and anti-Semitism has been spiking, and where just 6 months ago Michigan had a nearly deadly event of anti-Semitic mass violence at Temple Israel, no one should casually be suggesting that anyone, Jews or otherwise, are to blame for being targeted. Now, in a vacuum, the statement isn't all that offensive, right?
No.
Like, obviously, victims of violence shouldn't be blamed for their violence. The problem is that Hasan Piker didn't say any of that.
I was going to say that his statement was nowhere near that.
His statement was damn near identical to Ezra Klein a few months ago. Like it's just everybody has like this bizarre neurosis about this one individual, and I think it's because Hasan Piker, the individual, doesn't matter, right? Like Hasan Piker, the guy himself, is relatively unimportant. Hasan, though, is an effigy or a stand-in for anti-capitalist and anti-Zionist sentiment growing in this country. And so Democrats, moderate Democrats, and Republicans too, of course, are trying to burn him, hoping that they can sort of erase this ideological trend in the population. And I don't really think it's going to work.
Well, first of all, I don't think it's going to work because the general populace doesn't know who the fuck Hasan Piker is. Right?
Yes.
Like, let's just be honest here. He is huge on Twitch. He's huge in the online space. Huge with certain people of certain ages and demographics. But if you were to go in the street and ask a random person, you will hold up two pictures, LeBron James and Hasan Piker. Everybody picks LeBron James. Almost no one picks Hasan Piker.
And if they know who Hasan Piker is, it's because they have blasted his profile into orbit by covering him nonstop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is the problem.
Yes.
That if he's saying anything offensive, why would you continue to promote it? I don't understand. But also, the thing that really confuses me about this is that, okay, so Hasan Piker came into Michigan as a surrogate, right?
Yes.
He was a surrogate for Abdul. He did a stump speech with him, etc., etc.
It was two events.
Two events.
Two events
Two
total.
events.
In March, I think.
And one pool party.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
well.
infamous
So one
pool
pool
party.
party.
But that was for a ton of different candidates.
Yeah,
Whatever,
the infamous pool party.
But okay, so that's basically what he's done for him. Why is it? Are you too scared to go after Abdul himself? Is that why they're pointing?
I have
at,
a theory.
at
I have a
Hasan?
theory. I have a theory, and it may or may not be true. So y'all don't crucify me on this. But I have a theory: is that there is a thread of anti-Arab racism and Islamophobia that exists within certain elements of the Democratic Party. Just like I'm sure there's elements of anti-Semitism and racism and all the other stuff, all the isms. There's
all
elements,
exists.
it all exists. But it feels like they found the most Arab Muslim adjacent prominent person that they could find. And now it's time to hammer that person.
Because they're not pointing at a Bernie Sanders.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, well, they're not pointing at a guy like Bernie Sanders or any other commentator, really. It's all about Hasan. And also, I think the criticisms of Hasan are just a stand-in for not having any actual argument to levy against Abdul.
Yeah.
Like, his policies are so unambiguously popular, whether it's like the stuff on foreign policy or Medicare for all or getting money, like dark money out of politics and stuff like that, unambiguously popular among the population. So they got to attack a guy who seems less defensible in Hasan Piker.
Well, and he's less defensible because he traffics in that kind of clickbait, clip culture that you kind of have to be, right? So understanding the context of why all this stuff is happening. And listen, Hasan says a bunch of stupid shit that I don't agree with.
There are
all
reasonable
the time.
disagreements you can have
There
with
are
him.
reasonable things you could go at him for. But I think the part that I don't understand is this consistent sort of demonization that only goes to build the myth of this person. All it does is make the idea of Hasan Piker larger and larger and larger and more and more and more ominous to the point to where there's going to be people who just rock with him because they don't want to support you.
Yeah. Can I just say the one thing that really pisses me off about all of this is this guy streams 8 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Are they sitting there, are they paying somebody to sit there 8 hours a day, 7 days a week
Almost
to listen
certainly.
to
Yes.
everything
Yeah.
that he's doing, whilst we are fucking ignoring the government that's basically taking away, we can't eat our food.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with me, right? Like that's the thing with me.
There's
Like
other
I will freely say this. Like if I had the opportunity for me and RFK to be in the same room and agree like gentlemen to a fist fight, I would take it because I had Right? This week, I had some gastrointestinal issues from the damn eggs, okay?
Oh, man.
All right? I'm going through it. I lived through it. And so whether it be him, whether it be the head of the CDC, whether it be the FDA, whoever I need to fight, let me fight them. Because they're not doing their jobs. And we're not talking about that. We're spending time directing our energy at Hasan Piker, who holds no public office, who barely holds any sway over the general public, who is not backing financially people to the same degree that so many of these other organizations are. So what are some of these Democrats doing?
Yeah, rather than fixing the food supply, what if we get 10 more think pieces about Hasan Piker? Maybe that'll fix the problem.
Right? Like I'm angry because I want all of us to be paying attention to the things that matter.
Yeah.
And literally people are getting sick from the food. People are getting laid off. We're going to talk about the tariffs later. We got a whole trade war that's about to decimate the entire economy of the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
And we got our senator writing about Hasan Piker.
Yeah.
And
I don't care.
I'd prefer it if they were just honest and turned around and said to us, we don't want Abdul El-Sayed to be the next senator.
Well, they can't say that because vote blue no matter who, right?
But this is doing the same thing. We're literally turning people off, trying to turn people off. Abdul El-Sayed is the candidate. He has been elected in a free and fair election in the primary. We either get behind him and fucking start attacking the people on the other side that are currently attacking us.
Yeah.
Instead, we're fucking agreeing with them.
we're
basically using Mike Rogers' talking points constantly.
And that's the why you just giving Mike Rogers material for this general election. Like, what are we doing?
Because Mike Rogers' only real campaign against Abdul right now was like, one, he's Muslim, his name is scary, and two, he campaigned with Hasan Piker,
who is also scary,
Exactly.
and who is also scary. And moderate Democrats are feeding into the narrative that Mike Rogers is trying to drum up right now. I also have to say, this is something that Gage had brought up on an episode we did a couple of days ago. Charlie Kirk had infinitely more access and influence over politics in the White House than Hasan Piker will ever have. And nobody ever talked about Charlie Kirk in the same way they're talking about Hasan Piker right now. Charlie Kirk had an entire apparatus around him to influence young people and to influence the White House. I think CNN had reported that like Charlie Kirk, when he was still alive, had a direct line to Donald Trump himself in 2025. Hasan Piker will never have anything like that, but we treat Hasan Piker as if he's got this like massive amount of influence behind him in a way that nobody ever has before.
You know why?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just say that. But I do want us to bring somebody up who was also a part of the Michigan political apparatus. And Julie, I want you to lead this one because you were a little closer to this one than I am.
Okay, this is Congresswoman Hillary Skolton, who basically, honestly, Hasan Piker and Abdul El-Sayed are living rent-free in her head at this point. She's fucking, oh my gosh, she came out recently and said she's telling people that she won't put her name on campaign literature with Abdul El-Sayed.
Oh, no.
Shocked, right? She also doesn't want to be part of a unified campaign. So for those that have been in politics for a while, what happens is come close, obviously, to the election, they have a unified campaign. Literature goes out, which is shared by basically everyone on the ballot.
Yep.
To lift people down ballot, yeah.
Exactly. Lifts people down ballot. It also saves a shit ton of money. And as we know, Democrats have no money.
Yeah,
so
shout out Ken Martin.
Word to Ken Martin. Let's go.
It's just like, I don't know. And all of this, she basically said, I have long said I will not campaign with someone who continues to associate with Hasan Piker. So she's buying into all of this. It's like, is she just baiting us at this stage? It's like, what the fuck? I'm just tired.
Let me say this, because she's out there near Grand Rapids, correct?
She is.
That's her district. Mm-hmm. Abdul won Kent County, so I feel like it would behoove her to maybe change that stance a little bit, because I'm not sure that her name is enough to carry her through a general election without the rest of the Democratic Party.
Not with all the bullshit she's sprouting constantly.
Yeah.
Like, she really is. It's just, if you don't like him, fine. Shut the fuck up. That is, once again, that's your senator. That's who is running for U.S. Senate on the Democratic ticket.
Well, I'm curious about how all of this is playing just with the state party right now, because we saw the MDP come out and say, it's all one ticket.
Yeah.
We are behind our ticket. These are our nominees. And now we're seeing these little threads fraying at the edges, particularly around Abdul and Hasan Piker and so on and so forth. And listen, Abdul El-Sayed and his campaign put out a statement basically saying, stop conflating this guy with me.
Yes, yeah.
The only person that speaks for our campaign, my campaign, is me. And so, I feel like when we're talking about associations, when we're talking about how a candidate is positioning themselves, the Fox News interview, that's Abdul. That's what he's about. That's what he's talking about. And Hasan is a political commentator that has chosen his side. He knows who he likes, and he's going to talk about who he likes. But at the end of the day, stop giving Republicans material. Mm-hmm. Get on the same page. And, keep the ship moving, because if all of us were held responsible for some stupid shit one of our friends said, we all be in the penitentiary right now.
This is a message directly to Michigan Representative Hillary Scholten. I genuinely need you to shut the fuck up. You have no reason to act like you can't stomach voting for Abdul. He won your district by like 100 million votes. His former opponents, Haley Stevens and Mallory McMorrow, have fallen in line behind him. His former opponent, Gretchen Whitmer, has fallen in line behind him. The entire Democratic Party has fallen in line behind him. You have no legitimate claim to acting like you have to break from the vote blue no matter who paradigm. This is absurd. I don't know why you're doing this, but this is it's too much. Fall in line.
Yeah, well, listen to G&T Time if you'd like to know why she's doing it. Anyway.
That's a good plug. Moving on, we are going to stay here in the state of Michigan, but broaden the scope a little bit, as Trump over the past week did announce new tariffs on Canada. Trade War 2.0 is back, and starting on January 1, there's supposed to be a new round of tariffs on things like auto parts. There's going to be tariffs on grain and many other things, raw materials, or things that we need for our entire economy to go. And needless to say, the Canadians are pissed off, and they should be, so they are announcing reciprocal tariffs. All of this spells economic ruin for the state of Michigan, and none of it is good, Joe.
Mike Rogers has refused to comment on this,
because it's bad.
Yeah,
it's that bad that he objectively can't stand up for it.
But once again, I go back to what we were just talking about. This is what we should be fucking hitting people on. Mm-hmm. These are the talking points we need to talk about. So anyway, I would like to first of all bring up, I've been quite obsessed with this. Mark Carney is pissed, obviously.
Yes.
The Prime Minister of Canada is, and he's like the new leader of the free world, quite frankly, at the end of the day.
He's got the easiest job in the world right now, in terms of PR at least. Yeah. He just gets a free boost.
Just don't be like the guy down south.
Yeah.
That's right. But also on top of that, more than 70% of Canadians agree with him with regards to this. And I think
imagine that plurality.
I know. And imagine he has an approval rating in the high 60s.
Imagine that.
That's
incredible.
Like, I've never
Can't
heard
even
of that.
imagine. Yeah.
Never even heard of that. But once again, it's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
But what happened, just a reminder to everybody, and we need to remember, we have to go back to Epstein Island, and the man that took his children to Epstein Island, Howard Lutnick. Howard
Lutnick.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We were basically in the midst of negotiations about the trade deal. It was very close. Trump had said it was very close. Even Canada had come out and said we were so close to a deal. And Lutnick, whatever the fuck his name is, came in and literally turned it upside down. Yep. But I don't know if you guys have heard about how and why that happened. So part of the deal, which they slipped in late in these negotiations, was basically forcing Canada to adopt the USA's trade deals and tariffs when negotiating any future trade deals with other countries. Mm-hmm. So basically saying to Canada, okay, you want to go to Brazil and negotiate a trade deal and tariffs with Brazil on like steel or iron or whatever, you have to, if we've got tariffs at say 50%, you have to do that as well.
Make yourself a vassal state.
First of all, what sovereign nation would do that?
Exactly.
It's insane.
Yeah, just give up your sovereignty.
Yeah, no sovereign nation would do that.
They also, there's a few things that I wanted to cover off here. Canada also, basically part of this, so it's asking Canada to cancel their Buy Canadian program. Now, that was a program that they introduced in response to the tariffs to help businesses and corporations in Canada that were being impacted by the US tariffs.
Again,
right?
What country would do that?
Exactly. Basically saying, look, it was basically that they had it was government entities. Any government entity was basically being asked to prioritise Canadian products. That's pretty normal, right? I think America does that as well. There's a program.
I would assume most countries do that.
So they were asking them to get rid of that. So the USA wanted Canada to get rid of that particular Buy Canadian program, but they weren't going to remove the actual tariffs that forced them to put this in place. The next one was product labelling. Did you hear about this?
No.
So, if you buy any French products here in America...
Yeah, it's got a little French flag on it.
No, but it also comes in English. You'll have an
English...
Yeah, you can't have, the ingredients have to be labelled in English as well as French, right? So when you import or when you export products to Canada, they require that it includes a label in French.
Oh, yeah.
So that if you're sending whatever...
Yeah, if it goes to Quebec.
Cocoa Pops that are made in America, you're sending them to France, the ingredients has to include a French version label.
Yeah, you need consumers to be able to read it.
Yeah,
I would think that would be
fundamental.
pretty fucking... They basically said that they said you have to get rid of that requirement.
So I have a question, right? When it comes to these folks who get these positions, Howard Lutnick and the rest of them, these are people who've gone to the Wharton School of Business and Yale and all these places.
Demon factories.
How are these people this stupid? Because there's no way that you would be able to go into a negotiating room and say, yeah, man, make sure that when you negotiate with any other country, you use our tariffs. No nation is taking that deal.
But I think we need to think more deeply about this. Trump has been raving on for years now about making Canada the 51st state. This is trying to take away. Well, this is how Canadians are seeing it. America's trying to take away their sovereignty and literally make them the 51st state.
But it can't. But it doesn't work. That's my point. Is that if you were trying to take over a place or take over a state or take over another nation, wouldn't it behoove you to get the people of that nation to like you? Right? Wouldn't it behoove you?
Do you like the American government?
Not currently, but it's been here my whole life. That's the thing. I was born into it. It's not being foisted upon me. I was already in it. Right?
I oscillate back and forth between these are the most incompetent people on the planet, and this is not to be too conspiratorial about it, but this is an intentional ploy to tank the United States economy as we know it, so that it's easier for the billionaires, our oligarchs, to scoop up everything, all the assets and stuff like that.
Two things could be true.
I bounce back and forth between those ideas because it's I don't know. Like you said, I don't understand how these people are so fucking stupid. There's no way that they don't know the consequences of their actions, especially when they went to the Demon Factory Ivy Leagues.
That's not a conspiracy. I feel like that has to be
if you're trying to torpedo the country, this is kind of what you would do.
Well, I mean,
you would attack our closest ally.
Exactly, and if it's in Project 2025, what they're doing to food is in Project 2025. All of these things are basically layering one thing on top of another to basically bring us down and get us to our knees, where these oligarchs can basically take over.
Yeah. So be prepared. Also, let's rename Lake Ontario to Lake America.
Oh my God.
Also fucking stupid.
While we're at it.
While we're at it. But I just want to say for all of those who have gone out, who have supported the Trump campaign, who have supported the Trump administration here in the state of Michigan, if you are an auto worker, I don't feel bad for you, because be prepared of what is about to happen to your industry. Be prepared for what is about to happen to the price of vehicles, and be prepared for what is about to happen to the prices of all goods and services in the state of Michigan for the next few years in the foreseeable future, because this is what you voted for.
But I need to do a shout out to Debbie Dingell. Congresswoman Debbie Dingell did a great tweet about the Lake of America. She said, how about we call it the Lake of Natalie? At least to look after it.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
We're all on the decoy plane.
Yeah. Well, I want to close the circle of evil by talking about potential future Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, meeting with local supervillain Jared Kushner in a clandestine meeting in New York City to discuss, quote unquote, affordability.
Yeah,
it's a new word.
Areas of common ground, they said, which included, I think, affordability, housing, and immigration. Like, what fucking areas of common ground are there? Also, Jared Kushner, not an elected official.
No.
Just some guy that Trump appointed. Didn't even, like, appoint through, like, the appropriate channels. He's just kind of there.
Yeah, he's not even like an official ambassador.
No. He's just like there in the government. Yeah, no, there's no meeting. There's no reason to meet with Jared Kushner. And then afterwards, Hakeem Jeffries tried to like clean it up and do damage control. Then he came out in his like green M&M outfit. Did you see that?
Yeah, with the green Yankee fitted, like he just tried to look real bad style.
It's like, all right, dog, whatever.
Listen, let me say this right now for those of you who are not as keyed in. Jared Kushner, yes, is the son-in-law of President Trump. He is also the guy that was in charge of creating peace in Middle East. That was literally his job.
Yeah, can we get an update on that?
Yeah, in the last administration. But now he has been put in charge of the quote-unquote plan of peace, which is essentially supposed to turn Gaza into, a billionaire Disneyland within the next 15 to 20 years, of which Trump is the board of directors in perpetuity, the director of the board in perpetuity. So your idea was to go and meet that guy and talk about deep state government plans? Really?
I wish we had an opposition party, man.
Exactly.
I feel like we deserve like a crumb of an opposition party.
Yeah, exactly. I just like just a mask. Put on a mask for a minute. Just pretend. But if you're looking for a mandate, so Hakeem Jeffries should be looking for a mandate.
Yes.
To stop a tyrannical authoritarian government. Why the fuck would you be having a clandestine meeting with the president's son-in-law who's enriching himself off our backs?
Because I want to enrich myself too, damn it.
Oh,
what do you mean?
God. And if you
why would I be Speaker of the House if I'm not getting paid?
Well, if you believe that Hakeem Jeffries was meeting Jared Kushner to discuss affordability for us, then I've got a bridge in Brooklyn that I can sell you.
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
My tinfoil hat conspiracy here, which I have no evidence to back up whatsoever, is that Jared Kushner and the Trump administration knows they're about to lose majorities in the House, at least the House, maybe the Senate. We'll see what happens, right? So they're not going to be able to pass anything. And Hakeem Jeffries wants to be the Speaker of the House, knows that there's going to be enough like DSA-style candidates to gum up the works for like whatever he might want to accomplish. And so they're coming together to figure out how they can circumvent that. Circumvent both of their problems. Republicans losing the House and Hakeem Jeffries not having a Democratic Party that is like loyal enough to him for him to be successful. That's my thought.
I mean, I actually, for the most part, agree with that. But I just think that's such a bad way to go about it, because what I foresee is that if Hakeem Jeffries is not at least willing to embrace this new crop of Democrats or DSA adjacent candidates or DSA candidates coming into the House at bare minimum, then I just think he's going to be like Kevin McCarthy. Like, it literally is going to be, he's going to have this one term, and then we're going to spend 7 days sitting around for hours and hours as no one votes for him during the next elections. And so, I think it's very short-sighted. I, from an evil genius perspective, understand why you take the meeting, but from a ops perspective and trying to shore up support for the party and win, that was some of the dumbest shit you could have possibly did.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'd say to that is James Carville, who was the campaign manager for Bill Clinton. Like, he's fucking...
And Ed Hood-Barack.
He's like totally moderate, totally fucking moderate. He came out and said, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
So it's like, if he is saying that...
Because you don't take the meeting.
I don't know. He came out and said, you don't take the meeting with the fucking son-in-law of the president. How does this make sense? And I'm sorry, if James Carville is coming out, it's like, this seems like, I don't know, maybe he's playing some 10-dimensional chess that we don't know about.
Carville might just be mad that people found out about it, though. Not that, like, the meeting happened, you know what I mean? Because, like, optically, I think everybody can recognize it's a disaster for Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah,
but,
maybe.
Like, I wouldn't count on James Carville to have a moral opposition to collaborating with these people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't think it's I don't think it's a morality thing. I think it was, why were you so sloppy?
Yep.
I do want to talk about this before we close out the show, because this was a thing that came across my feed that absolutely made me want to throw up and punch my screen at the same time. And that is a Callaway golf ad in collaboration with a Good, which is like a golf social media brand. They put together an ad. And during this ad, if you haven't seen it, because it has been taken down in a lot of places, during this ad, a woman is about to grab a driver out of a golf bag, of which she is then tackled by a man who then says, like, "Don't touch my new driver," and like this really
stands over her
really like crushed body.
Way. Yeah,
it says like, "Don't touch my new driver," and they were absolutely raked over the coals for this ad because it's gross. It is violent. It is unnecessary, and it completely reinforces what I think about people who spend too much time on the golf course, which is these are guys who drink too much whiskey and probably go home and, lay some hands on some people.
What was the point of this? Like, what were they promoting? They were just like, hey, domestic violence is funny? Is that what it was?
It was just like, oh, there's the good old boys time on the golf course. God.
They were basically trying to sell the driver by saying that our drivers, the Callaway driver, is so fucking good.
That you'll beat up a woman for it.
Yeah.
That was what they were trying
to
do.
The sacred Excalibur driver, no woman is allowed to touch because it'll make me lose my powers.
Jesus Christ, dude.
And just a reminder that Good Golf is not like, yes, it's a streaming, like they have a platform on social media, on YouTube and whatever, but they've got 2 million followers on YouTube. They're no tiny little sort of group.
Yeah.
They also got given, I think, they raised like $45 million last year, so they're not a tiny group.
No, not at all.
They're run by 4 guys. Interestingly
Republican
enough,
mega donors.
probably. Interestingly enough, the guys that were in the ad, the guy in the ad was basically a co-founder, and the woman works for the company as well.
Yes.
So
getting tackled by your boss.
Correct.
Okay.
Which
well,
for a commercial.
Wondering why she signed off on this.
Anyway,
you know why?
I mean, Callaway Golf signed off on this as well, and they have $100 million per year budget for marketing and promotion. So you have to think that they haven't looked at this and gone, oh, this is bad for our brand. They've looked at this and gone, this will sell.
They've looked at it and said, we focus grouped it.
Yep.
Yeah. We ran it through. We ran it through all the stress tests, and the market we are selling to is okay with this ad.
This is just playing into the critique we've talked about on this show before, where it's like ever since Trump winning in 2024, every company's like, I'm Hitler. Hey guys, I'm Hitler.
Exactly.
It was like the Sydney Sweeney jeans thing, the Pantone color of the year last year just being white. Now this, like, hey, you should beat up your wife for this golf club?
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
And I mean, remember that golf does have a history of misogyny. Like it is, like Augusta, where they hold the Masters, basically up until 2012.
The new season of Beef on Netflix, like, literally talked about this aspect of, like, one of the main characters, like, constantly gets sexually harassed, like, by the guys who golf, because she's, like, the golf cart refreshment girl.
Yeah, the caddy, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I woke up to it a couple of days ago and I was like, my phone had blown up.
Yeah.
It was just insane how upset people were. And when you think about 1 in 3 women in the world basically face domestic violence of some way, or, some sort of violence in some way, shape or form, this is not a small thing.
And then you drop a commercial saying, hey, it's cool to do it for our golf club.
It's it's
just like let's just poke fun at that. It's ridiculous.
Disgusting.
And of course, the responses from a lot of from some men has been look, it's just a joke. Can't you take a joke? No, it's not a joke.
Right.
At the end of the day, there are actual women.
What's the joke?
The joke exactly.
What is the joke?
The joke is that it's funny to beat up someone with a golf club. I mean, at the end of the day, that's how it looks. But there are actual women that have been killed in this country by men using a fucking golf club.
Yeah.
So let's be serious about this. You can't. Anyway,
but you know what?
We're
not gonna end the show on violence against women. We're gonna end the show on violence against racists. So we just gotta straight up say, much love to Spider-Man. Not only did you open the box office incredibly with the new movie, but you also decide to open a can of whoop ass on Jake Lang in Minneapolis.
Comically accurate Spider-Man, 100%.
100% accurate Spider-Man. If you haven't seen the clips, it's all over social media. I just wanted to mention it very briefly. The person eventually was unmasked, and yes, they went to jail. But a GoFundMe is being raised for his bail, so I think he may be out by the time this is released.
You guys saw the sign that Jake Lang had, right?
Yes.
It said Jake Lang doesn't hate black people. He hates N-words.
Yeah.
Like, I condemn political violence. But at what point are you bringing it upon yourself? Like, I'm sorry, but like,
you know what? But on this one,
fine line at this point.
I'm gonna say it and get mad at me. I'm not sure I condemn that.
I mean,
I
like,
don't condemn it. If you're gonna hold the sign like that, I don't condemn if somebody punches you in the fucking face. I don't condemn it. I'm sorry.
Like, it's not like if you're walking around with a sign that's got a slur on it, you know what you're doing. You know how people are gonna react.
It's like, it's my free speech. No, not free from these hands, bro.
In Minneapolis, the last city that like gives a shit about themselves, the city that fought back against ICE, the city that actually like stood on business when it came to like BLM and like the police brutality and stuff like that. George Floyd, like you're going into that city, a city that still has like some self-respect, and doing that, like, I don't know, that's kind of just the consequence.
Yeah, straight up and down. So anyway, listen, I was just talking about Norris's feelings. You don't go out there and do nothing crazy. I'm just saying.
We condemn violence.
Condemn.
Okay, we condemn violence. But anyway, that's gonna be it for this episode of Point of Disorder. Thanks for watching. As always, you can follow us on all your social media platforms, which is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, so on and so forth. Jeremy, where can they find Hitta?
Head in the Office on all platforms. Long form is on all your podcasting apps, YouTube and whatnot. And then you can get the short form on the vertical video platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and so on.
All righty. Julie, you get the final word.
I'm going to close with, in the words of the great Dolly, the day you're born, you start to die. Don't waste 1 minute of your life. You better get to living. And in honour of Dolly, we are going to take next week off and start living for a week. We'll be back after Labor Day, the week of Labor Day, with our very own iconic blonde, Adrian, who'll be back joining us.
Right.
So that'll be it for me.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Point of Disorder. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to everyone who listened today. And if you like us, give us a like, a subscribe, or a review on any place you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Distill Social and at The Guerrilla Politic. This is the Point of Disorder podcast, signing off. Stay sharp, stay progressive, and above all, stay tuned.